Hey everybody, this is Pastor Andy Duffy and Pastor Bilbo from Antioch Church of the Brethren, bringing you another devotion from the book of Philippians. And this time, I'm continuing on. Yesterday, we talked about the way that Paul uses strong language, especially in chapter 3, verse 2. Paul says, "Watch out for those dogs, those evildoers, those mutilators of the flesh, for it is we who are the circumcision, we who serve God by his Spirit." Why does he say that? Why does he call these people dogs? Bilbo, do you have an idea? I don't think he meant they're dogs because they don't listen to their friends. Hi. So here's what I'm thinking. Dog was a word that was commonly used by Jews to refer to non-Jews, Gentiles. Why did they call them dogs? Because dogs in their day were not super cute and adorable and pets like Bilbo is, right? Today, we think dogs are the best animal ever. Back then, they were gross, they were mangy, they were the scavengers, right? They were the ones that lived near the dump to take care of the garbage. They like to eat dead things and nasty things I don't even want to think about. That was what dogs did, and in some parts of the world still do. So it's a word for Jews to refer to Gentiles, but in this passage, Paul is actually referring to a group of Jewish Christians who are encouraging Gentile Christians to adopt the full Jewish tradition of practices, like following all of the laws of the Torah, of the Old Testament, like circumcision, like observing the Sabbath, like all of the food laws. And circumcision was probably the biggest example, right? Circumcision is what marked off a person as being a people of God, the descendants of Abraham. If you wanted to be one of God's people, you had to mark yourself off in this way. Now, some of these Gentile Christians weren't sure about that. But some of these other Jewish Christians said, hey, you want to follow Jesus? You got to do it. Paul, who was a Jewish Christian, said, no, let's not force them to do all this other stuff. In Christ, we are welcomed into a whole new way of being a people of God. That's not based on the outer markings or even following certain rules and laws and traditions. We are welcomed by trusting God's Spirit. That's how you become God's person. By trusting God, we become God's people. Others call this faith. Now, it's interesting then, as the wind picks up, that Paul refers to Jewish Christians as dogs, right? He's using the words that Jews refer to Gentiles. Now, he's using that same word back on the Jews. No longer, is he saying, are those outsiders, those foreigners, those non-Jews, the dirty dogs. Now, it's Jewish Christians who are trying to force their practices on others. That's where the true dirtiness, uncleanness comes from. Dogs are not dogs who are dogs on the outside, we might say, but dogs on the inside, right? Scavengers on the inside. Those who maybe are circumcised on the outside, marked on the outside, but on the inside, they're drawn to death, and they're trying to spread it around. Now, we need to be careful to not use this in some kind of an anti-Semitic way, right? It's not saying that Jews are dogs. We behave unclean like they thought were dogs when we try to force all the things that we think on other people. That makes us unclean. That shows that we're not, in fact, truly one of God's people, at least as long as we behave in that way. So, be thinking about this. I'd love to hear back from you on some of these ideas, because this is a very important New Testament idea and one that's repeated in lots of different ways throughout the New Testament. Don't be a dog from the ancient world. Be a dog like Bilbo, who is amazing and truly
most precious beloved beast. Hey, bud.